capital improvement committee meeting. Right? For the record, I guess.
Okay,
I guess a place to start, I'm kind of remembering this from last year. I wrote these down this week and I think I put them across a very, yeah, I didn't do it well. Do we have balances currently of our general stabilization? Or a general fund or capital stabilization fund? I think that's really all
From last week.
from town. Okay,
So general fund was about 2.3 million, contract stabilization was around 50,000, but I have in parentheses plus 100,000.
me too. I have that. So did you had 2.3 or I have $2,332,000.
Oh, I have, well, I said 2.3 rounding, but 2.3 and then I have 33, not $32 there.
Gotcha.
And then the pension stabilization, I have roughly 670. And then the OPEB is?
Okay, yeah.
OPEB, okay,
$150?
yeah, about 50.
Okay. That's what I have too in contract stabilization. Yeah, like you said 50 plus 100.
so for me,
We don't grab from any of those other ones, right? Other than capital or free cash.
Exactly.
Right. So I remember we did this last year, we kind of broke it down, like, we can't feasibly recommend like $4 million in spending if we know that there's only $2 million available. So do we want to start with the fact that we have, I don't have the capital here. Is it 2.9? I'm trying to figure out my own chicken scratch here. The problem. 2.9. Once we added to it. I'm thinking it was 2.9, but the idea is to leave like 0.9 or close to $1 million.
Exactly.
So 2 million is what we want to try to work with here
That's the.
from capital.
and so this $1,000,009 is coming out of that. And that leaves us with nothing, is that my understanding?
1.9 from the tower. That was after the tower. So it was gonna be. Correct me if I'm wrong, if it's, that was not having to do with the 1.9.
Exactly.
We would still have, we'll have 2.9 left after the tower appropriation,
Okay.
which is already hit council floor.
So we've
For
got
sure.
2.9, and if we played that a little, okay. And that's cash that we have to spend and stuff.
Yeah.
It will not be a borrowing.
Correct. That's our capital fund
Mhm.
without the tower. So I don't think do we even have to put I don't think we have to even really put a recommendation on the tower. It's literally already a financial order
Okay,
in.
Exactly.
okay,
So we're looking at trying to be around the 1.9 to 2 million use of capital is my understanding. Because we want to leave something in there
good.
according to the thing we were talking about last time with the state and their recommendations with bonds and all that.
Okay, so if we get to the police. And was there anything on this that you didn't want to do?
Well, it seems like the top priority is the police vehicles.
Yeah.
And to me, the cameras and the defibrillator, I would hate to eliminate anything that had a problem because I opened the.
Yeah.
You don't want someone to,
I mean, as far as I'm concerned, if they've made it this far on this piece of paper, they're all crucial.
so part of it, I did do a quick and dirty spreadsheet for math purposes of these, and I might have missed something. But the total I had us starting with, if we were to say yes to everything with the exception of what, like, that's already been pulled, like the rec department, those precast bathrooms, I had us at 2.648, actually close to 649. So that would mean shaving off roughly $700,000.
Yeah.
But that was my quick and dirty math,
Yeah.
not,
Okay, so we should now then go to the rest of it and see what we want.
Well, that's it. I think that's the tough part. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if we should take like, if we want to prioritize piece by piece of the department and say back burner the other ones. If there's enough, right, then we can say, well, these are the ones that are going to be the toss ups. I think, I mean, I agree that I think the police vehicles are one priority. Yes, the camera upgrades is also a huge ticket item. It's important. But I know everyone always puts on these things a 1 or a 2. No one really ever wants to put, other than Rack, who is, I think Rack is very honest with their 1, 2, 3s and 4s.
Well, he does-
Everyone else says 1, I need this stat, and
He does have the defibrillators and radios and batteries
as 2s, right? But they're also much smaller tickets that they might be able to be absorbed by their operating budget
Right.
versus a $236,000 expense is not.
So then I would say let's say yes to the 236 and the 280. Yeah. And then come back to the other 2.
If these are still accurate numbers, like we saw, the numbers we were getting afterwards were not necessarily the same. But yeah, I agree. Is that in here too? And so those 2 right there put us at over $500,000. So we're at a quarter, just over a quarter of what we're looking at to use on capital with no borrowing at all.
And on the next highway funding don't pay, that's a grant fund. Or do you pay the 2? I don't know.
That's it. 622.
I turn the pay, the 622 is a grant.
Yes, that's the grant. You did the, we paid the 200.
yes, that is,
So we have no choice on that.
Deplete our votes. I mean, I guess if we wanted to, it's kind of a baseline that is asked for every year is the same. Out to try to sustain a preventive maintenance kind of program across our streets.
Well, why don't we leave these until last?
This always a big, DPW is always big,
Right.
for good reason, it's the biggest department.
Yeah.
do we want to look at recreation since it's just 3 items?
Okay.
The 2 smaller ones, the tennis and pickleball court repair servicing, for me, that's of course, it's a smaller amount, and those tennis courts get heavy use. We don't have people to time zoning.
Well, I do know that they are putting to those funds that we pay for out of taxes, they're needing to, and they asked for that money too.
For resurfacing or?
Yes.
Oh, the
The,
community preservation.
Yes.
Yeah. I know, it's always tough because they're doing the same thing, it's like 10, and
right,
like last year, we approved something, we found out they were paying for another thing, and by the time it came to it, we didn't have to put that money there,
right.
which is great.
And so,
Pickleball courts, however, is where I'm torn.
well, here's my thought on that. They made us raise money for the library. They made us raise money for the skate park. I say let the people raise money for the pickleball.
I agree.
And
they-
just myself.
Yes, they have started that and it's, yeah, I hope that we do eventually get them because I do know that the people who play pickleball in the area will go town to town. And so that could bring in new customers for our businesses.
Yeah.
But I don't think we have $250,000 to toss in it right now.
I don't,
I just hope they'll still be able to get the grants they were hoping for when we do have that.
And I'm convinced that the wayfinding for the trails, the 30
The
75, yes.
Mhm.
To me, that's important.
that was their number one priority.
And they've been asking for that for multiple, we shot them down the last few years.
Right, we did.
And they got grant money and then they got other grant money. And I think to the point of talking about comparing pickleball courts with this, I think that they've done that over the last couple of years. That it's time for us to chip in. And maybe some of the CPA money will offset some of this too, because I know they had previously.
Right,
So that I don't know what their priorities are going to be coming out of that committee.
well, I would say that I would vote for that. And if we have more money at the end of this, we can come back and look at the other stuff.
We're not gonna have money at the end of this.
It's nice. I mean, I don't know, so are we saying like the top two, which are the lowest costs, we could potentially put in as a yes for now until we get to the end?
Tentative yes, until we've done the full math.
So that's like 111,000.
Then for schools, which is next up, we didn't have to do the elevators for Federal Street.
But we do have to do the fire alarm.
The fire alarm and the Four Corners design study. It is ridiculous, but part of it's because they have to redo the entire system because the old system no longer had parts and the screens only worked some of the time and
I know, I just,
it's a frustrating price tag.
I find those panels that I'm working on getting replaced and just, the cost estimates from the architects are ridiculous, because I could literally just have the fire alarm company come do it, and it would be quarter of the price, but because it's a state job, you gotta go through all the
Mhm.
red tape and
Right, and it costs a whole bunch of.
well, that's all this is, it's like us. Right, but they pay for billing wage to do it to begin with, and it'd still be a quarter of the cost, but it's just the moment that you get designers involved. And they just throw some arbitrary cost estimate software on there that's like 200% higher than anything else, and then they have to advertise that, which I've argued, like, why are we telling them what we think it's gonna cost? Why don't we just say, this is the job, what is your bid? And they're like, well, no, because then you don't get serious bidders coming in. But I don't know. I'm gonna lose that battle all day long.
Okay, so we are for the fire alarm.
Given the States.
Well, at least we're not going with the higher estimate for it to also have a verbal talking thing. Did you see that at the school committee meeting when that was discussed?
I did not, but
So there was talk that there might be a law change at some point in the near future requiring that. And that just voice going over, recorded message telling people fire would add like 150,000 to
the
it.
devices are stupid.
Like, oh, I didn't see that on there.
Post-production.
And so the architect design is a 2. And that's been there forever. This is not a.
Like, on one hand, ADA issues, but on the other hand, that's over half of what they estimate it would cost to actually do the work, just in design.
Yep. Lobbying.
Yeah.
So much money on design, there's nothing left over to do any work.
Great.
So what are your thoughts on that one?
To come back to it.
Maybe. Unfortunately, maybe.
And we don't have to do the boilers.
No. Boilers got taken care of.
And there's nothing for veterans.
I just want to say we did skip over central maintenance, and I'm only saying it's because this is the first year central maintenance is separate from DPW, which normally it's also that purview, but I do recognize we skipped over. We were purposely skipping over the list of DPW, but in that we did skip over
Oh, yes.
the van and the feasibility study of the city.
Oh, I see it, yeah.
I would be in favor of cutting the feasibility study right now because we're not about to be
Well,
building a new,
I have thought of that under the new administration, we might be able to get money for the fire station.
what, you mean police station?
I mean, police station, I'm sorry, police station. That will be the only money that we could ever get from the federal government. But if we had done the study and had figured out, so we're shovel ready, what we want, where it's going to go and all that kind of stuff, I would advocate that we do it so that we're ready if the opportunity comes along. Now, because we're in Massachusetts, we may not have that opportunity.
That is
But-
very possible.
But I'm just saying that's the only opportunity we will have for 4 years.
I'm just reluctant to gamble 90, well, almost 90 grand of taxpayer money on the shot of that. Because is there any other reason why we need to do this year?
That's the reason.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm inclined to disagree with Karen about that. I'm not, let's just say, I'm not comfortable that the next 4 years is gonna have any good things coming for our municipalities and funding, whether it be police or otherwise.
Okay,
And I don't think that, and even as the chief said, he's not concerned about building right now because the work gets done on the cars and we're investing in their vehicles for that. Also, the caveat to that is off of the 5-year capital plan that they had put forward previously, that the former chief was not very good at managing. There was some money appropriated to that. We haven't gotten a clear update on how that money has been spent. And that was actually one thing that I wanted to ask for. I'm planning on putting it on shares this month so we get an update in February. I know they did some in-house work, which was a little sus on how that was done. Unions, blah, blah, I don't want to stir the pot, but so they got some things that they wanted inside of the building done already, even without the capital. We haven't really got an update for the last year on this is why at the city council level, we shot down appropriating any more money for their capital until they could prove they were utilizing the money that was already allocated for them. And making sure that they were kind of following the recommendations and not just doing whatever they wanted with it, even though they can do what they want with it. There was that warning, I don't know if you guys remember, don't do that because then you're not gonna get any more money if you just shut down the recommendations of the folks who are approving this money. And if we're going to be, I would say if we're going to be putting any money in the feasibility study for something like a move of the fire station, then we should put a hard stop on any further improvements to that building that aren't absolutely necessary for.
Absolutely.
This full building study is also, I think we also look at Green River School, what to do with it, and also figuring out a town hall solution.
It's a comfort. I mean, we've been working on it for the last year in planning construction.
What I would rather do, ideal world, I would get a team of volunteers that are experts, tradesmen, who are willing to walk through the building and give off the cuff recommendations so that we could try to do a study that was a little bit more pared down in scope. Looking at just this and that as opposed to all of it, just to try to save money, especially because we're not going to be able to build another building for what, 15 years?
Wait,
10?
yeah.
I'm assuming inflation of years.
I agree that might.
Well, I'm just worried that we'll have another fire department that's built on land that we don't own and with a museum and all of the bells and whistles. That we need somebody to come in and say, parking lot across from Hope and Olive would be the best place for City Hall and police station. I mean, you know, we need somebody to tell us with professional oomph. And I could be talked out of this. I'm just,
So here's where I fall. I think you're right, it is a good idea, but I don't think we have the cash for it right now.
okay, well, let's,
So that is where I fall. I really like that idea. I think it is information we need to have. But just from when I was playing with numbers, pulling this, adding that in, if we do that, then that is a vehicle for the Department of Public Works that we can't do.
Okay, I mean, I can give, that's fine.
Just to know, from the things we've said yes to, we're at 927,000, so we're about halfway there.
And that is before we get into the replacing the vehicles that are old enough to vote.
Correct.
Okay,
That's without either architectural studies, whether for the school or the municipal buildings.
right.
So do we want to talk about the other central maintenance request, which was the Rockport van?
Right.
The traveling workstation.
So
That's how I feel too.
it's hard to say because these folks are coming in and they know what they need to get the work done. And I mean, I work in this kind of industry, but I also wouldn't presume to, I mean, I actually got asked previously, what kind of trucks do we need? Do we need these trucks? Do we need blah, 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 to plow the streets and to do these things? I was like, look, like, I can give you an opinion, but I won't presume to know what operating a city department like this is going to be. And so, there are people like Marlo who've been in this game for a long time and know the city in and out. And I'm like, G says you need a 5,500 versus a 3,500 for a truck. I'm gonna say he's probably right, and we're not gonna, otherwise we'll run the other one to the ground real quick, not getting back for a buck. Because I don't.
But this is not him, this is,
But it's used to be.
Yeah.
But again, central maintenance takes care of so many things
That was my.
for all the departments.
Their pitch was that it would improve their efficiency a lot to not have to pack up every tool and then unpack it every single day, but to have a secured mobile.
Right.
So it
I see the value of that.
meet the
Yeah.
edges of our buildings and
Yes.
I agree.
Okay,
so I'm inclined to say yes to that one.
Let's throw that down on the tote for me.
okay.
W,
Wait.
I didn't find
Let's
something.
not get there yet. Mostly,
Let's avoid that one.
it's always the rough one. So the rest of these, I mean, I know we had in here, these were the updated ones, right? They transferred that, I believe these are replacing them. So like GSAT, that is going to be a bond. That was the idea.
Those were not part of the 2 million.
Those are outside of it. The enterprise funds are like separate from the 2 million. I don't know if we just want to cover that real quick.
Yes, let's,
I don't have a problem with the enterprise funds doing what they're doing.
I have a question about, GSET.
Okay.
We started this many years ago. And we're still using that same technology. Where they put the thing on the pole. Northampton, I understand, it's got a company coming in and giving internet service to every house within a year for $50 a month per house. You can sign on to it. Why are we still, and you plug stuff in the wall? If anything that you go and get, you plug it in the wall to get internet service. Why are we still sinking millions of dollars into GSET, which does not appear to me to be state of the art? I'm just throwing that out.
I'm not sure about what Northampton is doing. If there's anything being plugged into the wall, that's to me antiquated. I have nothing, if that were to be in my house, I have no place for it to plug into the wall without them running some sort of lines in my house. Like all of my phone lines were removed when I renovated my house. So the only way that I could get a phone in my place right now, if I wanted a landline, which I don't, would be through the cable company. or through something that was in the air, that is, the speaker looking things.
I'm
Okay.
just saying at my house,
Yeah,
I think you are not correct on the Northampton thing. Cause I just pulled up a newspaper article. It looks like it's, so it looks like it's more expensive. It's fiber, but it's, let me scroll down, cause the little preview of the article said, pricing starts at 65 for, and then I needed to see what the up.
Comcast has fiber optic cables running, but they're still cable lines, so that's
well,
by plugging into your house.
well,
Yes.
for Comcast,
Mhm.
I have a box
Mhm.
that's plugged into the wall.
Yep.
And that's my
Right.
Comcast.
But for GSAT, you don't have, from the people I've seen it, you have something attached to your house, but it essentially works all like wireless. It's all through the air. Just like your cell phone works.
So
And
it is standard tech. It's not like it's outdated.
Okay, well, that's fine. I just was throwing that out.
So,
we have a building that I manage that I didn't even notice until it was an outage. The coaxial leg of Comcast went down,
Mhm,
but the fiber optic line was still good. So
mhm.
we had a community internet that could still run, but everybody else's cable and internet was down until they fixed it. And I was like, I don't even know what this means, but
well, the Northampton, it's the same thing, the make ready on poles that they're on through. So it seems very similar and I need to look up the pricing.
I don't want to see it fail, to be honest. It hasn't even made it to my house.
Well, it's
But-
never gonna make it to mine, so.
Yeah, I mean, they got the highway to deal with where I live on dead end. But and I'm up in North Creekville. But I've seen them out there. I've seen them on 5 and 10. I've seen them on, the other part of Long Plain Road, not my side. But there are things to contend with, and I get that. And
I mean, that's fine.
and again, this isn't actually taking anything from the taxpayers at this point. It's a bond.
I
They're gonna pay for it.
I think
I don't think that they can afford to pay for it is my reason for questioning. I think the taxpayers really pay for it because we are doing the borrowing.
so. There are a couple of other benefits of GSAT. One of them is the ability to bring in businesses with a stable, less commercial internet service, especially with net neutrality being buried. Because, that does make a difference to people and having a free internet as opposed to a corporate dictated internet.
I'm not as skeptical. I think they will be able to cover it. And I will defer at least to leaving up to the mayor to decide that. I know she's skeptical as well, at least from other things that she said.
Okay, well,
If
let's,
it-
let's,
I'm
let's.
a GSAT optimist.
Yeah, but their presentation, I mean, they did give us a good presentation of how the amount of debt that they're going to be done with versus what this borrowing would be is if they've already been paying this much down. And I mean, adding more infrastructure is only going to increase your revenue, right? So if they could afford that as they've been going on and getting rid of those bills, it stands to reason to me that they would. I don't know, I'm not a credit history person in that I'm not doing their credit report for them, but I mean, if I loan somebody money and they've been paying me right along and got rid of, this note that I gave them, this note I gave them, they still owe me this other 5 notes, they've been doing pretty good. I'd be more inclined to be like, okay, you can have one more because you've had a good track record of paying it down.
It's also just good for the city and.
And I don't think
they
they
don't
will
want to
fail.
kill it too early.
I don't think any of them want to lose the jobs. So,
Okay,
I want to see it expand and.
Yeah.
Continue to expand.
okay.
Of the internet.
wanted to ocean of electricity would be like that. One of my friends lived in South Hadley, that, oh, my electric bill's like $25 a month. I was like, what?
I love how the delivery fee is over half of the bill.
Mhm.
Okay. Now,
I mean, again, these are only our recommendations and these aren't actually taking any money from any funds. They are bonds. but the rest of them are retained earnings, so
Mhm.
they're all paid for by their own enterprise.
Okay, so we do the sewer fund, the 200.
The sewer fund was, yeah, it was actually, they lowered that
to 200.
to lower to 200, right, yep. Cause they didn't need the other three for this year.
Mhm.
And then there's
The water
the
fund.
water stuff.
Now, all of the sewer and water stuff, it seems pretty no brainer to me.
Yeah, right? And
Yeah,
I mean.
And again, a
we're
couple of those-
Required to.
a couple of those are retained earnings, so we don't really even have much to say about that, I think, they're, they can take care of it.
in the bond. Okay. So then we go back to the DPS.
Oh, there we go, now.
No,
I was like, you should have done those before.
Oh, the pizza party fund first. Okay,
So we have $1 million left, is that right?
Essentially right about that, yeah, after the central maintenance, we're looking at, and 17,
but,
so roughly, yeah, roughly $1 million left.
but their top ask was the bucket truck. They said that was the most critical, and that's $250,000.
Well, we also did, we didn't include those, highway funded, that you get in there. Yeah. These highway funds,
So that's almost half of what we have left.
200. What was the other one, the
$250 for the bucket truck.
saying,
Whatever you're talking about.
it's hard because they're all priority ones, right?
Right.
But they verbally told us that, the bucket truck parts are not made anymore.
Right.
So that's 490, if we do all the truck, 3 trucks, so
If we do, this was just including the two, well, this was including the highway fund and the bucket truck. That would now put us at
450.
450, we're at like 4, 6, 7, 3, 2, 9.
And that bucket truck, wow, that was 1997 truck. It's amazing how much she's there.
For shits and giggles, if we were to put the rest of these asks on there, we're looking at another 240. The trash truck's big.
But don't we need to do the Coal Run Street big bridge repairs and the Liddell Street engineering?
That's $69,000 together.
Right. And so then we just decide which of them.
1, 5, 3, 6, 3, 2, 1.
So the,
What I have in my little spreadsheet is if we don't do either building study or the pickleball courts, I have us down to 2.27.
2,027,000.
Mhm.
That's including everything else.
That is including everything else unless I've missed something. Which I would definitely double check me because I did this.
So that included all of the police.
Yes, the cameras, cars, defense and radios.
So, okay, so. The ones that I'm at 1.536 and change, and that was without defibrillators, the radios and batteries from police. That is without the 2 smaller trucks, the trash truck and the superintendent vehicle. Or supervisor vehicle for DPW. Without either of the municipality studies, no pickleball court, no precast bathrooms, which I think we immediately were getting.
Yes, they had withdrawn that.
Oh, they actually,
Yes, because there were some more issues,
oh, that's right,
the engineering and
That's right.
water and Hill.
that's right. Yeah, so no, that's without the school design, without the municipality. This, yeah, municipality design, municipal building design, there you go.
So we have how much left out of you?
roughly $500,000. And those other things are still open. I would be inclined to put, even though it's the biggest ticket item on there, trash truck. 370,000, but I think we have to get rid of our waste.
And we've said no so many times for. That would be my main thing.
The other vehicle to really look at was that replacement for, is it 47? Yeah, the 1 ton, just because that 1 ton truck was in 1999.
Alright, so I'm at 1.9 before that. So we had 150,000, we're down with 2,056,000.
Okay, let's do that.
But does that have the bridge repairs in there?
Yeah,
Oh, it does, okay.
and
It has the 35 and 34.
Okay, so those are good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So what we would be leaving out, according to this plan, at 2,056,000, which is pretty close to what we were asked to keep it around. We would not be getting them a 3/4 ton truck for DPW.
right,
We would not be getting the meter reader supervisor vehicle for 25 grand. We would not be doing either of those feasibility studies.
right.
And we would not be doing defibrillators and radios and batteries for police. Like, I believe that covers everything we already haven't said essentially no to.
Just trying to remember. I remember one of the trucks, either the 1 ton or the 3/4 ton. One of them had something in particular about, was it either the training or standard versus automatic or their. Sorry, I'm
I
trying.
do remember him talking about that. Neither of those should require CDL license anyway.
Okay.
It was probably, it could have done the bucket truck. I don't know what the weight is on that one. Trash truck is probably certainly would.
I guess, yeah, if we're gonna do the 1 ton or the 3/4 ton, I suppose the 1 ton does make more sense to replace since it's.
Obviously, we'd like to do them all.
In an ideal world.
That is most of the asks on there anyway. And that's with zero borrowing, which we had borrowed last year.
Wow.
I mean, this is a really parsed down budget we're trying to deal with here. We're shoestring pretty much.
Okay, so what was the number?
And I'm not saying that we couldn't recommend to go a little bit higher than that. I know we want to keep $1 million in there and the mayor can cut it anyway.
Right.
Or recommend some small chunk of borrowing. I mean, we're not talking borrowing $500,000 here. If we had to borrow,
But what small chunk would you want?
I just mean,
Yeah.
are you gonna borrow really like 25,000? No, like, but. You know, but if we were to have something that we feel is needed, that would be, 100K or something like that. It's not, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, that would be like breaking the bank.
Well, then I would, if we were doing that, I would throw in the cameras and the defibrillators for the police department.
That's 55,000, yeah.
Wait, you mean radios, right? You said cameras. We did do the cameras, which were important. Yes. What was the number that your math got you
I
to?
got us to 2,056,329.
Okay,
And again, that was without defibrillators, radios and batteries for police. That was without 3/4 ton truck or the supervisor vehicle for DPW. And then also was without feasibility study for either the municipal buildings or Four Corners. And we'd already kind of kiboshed where the medical was. So we actually didn't talk much about that.
I am 1 digit different from yours, so perhaps I put.
I was also doing some pages, so.
Because I have 205, 5329.
That's what I got to. So I probably just carried one where I.
Yeah, exactly. That's all it is.
That's why. I
One
didn't
somewhere.
do the
Yeah,
other
yeah,
one.
yeah.
So,
6, I think it's 7. And that's 15, 16, 0, I don't know, I still have 6. Unless I copied it down on
Well,
the paper, which is also very, very plausible. So we're talking we're talking $1,000 difference.
yes, I'm not concerned about, I think there will be enough wiggle room in one of these projects, so.
Yeah.
Just wish I could give DPW more.
Yeah,
I mean, and that's kind of where I'm saying, like, we're not, I know we were asked to not really borrow, but we're also not sitting here being like, can we borrow $1.5 million, right? Like, if we want to. And again,
but
we're
again,
just recommending,
and again, the borrowing would be for trucks. If we, and I'm against borrowing for trucks. Which,
borrowing for radios and defibrillators. We're borrowing for something either way. If we're going to borrow for anything, we really,
yeah,
um,
I mean, the radios and defibs are,
saving stuff.
I mean, the radios, sounds like they don't have enough to go around.
Well,
Defibs, I would not want.
yeah, I mean,
if I'm the one having the heart attack.
Right.
I want them to have the good of it in the game.
yeah, it's tough. I mean, even the, chief's explanation was like, they still work. Right? I mean, and again, yeah, you don't want to sit here and play with life-saving equipment, but how often, just realistically, how often are the police using a defib versus you've got the fire department or the ambulance on site? The police might be the first one there, because a lot of times they are. And that's true. And so you want them to have equipment that works because every minute counts.
What was the age of this?
I think they were 15 years or something.
No wonder if the,
Well, I mean, he's got them as two.
Right.
yes. So maybe
And the radios and batteries was essentially just to replenish their stock, right? I mean,
they have no portables for new hires.
right. I don't think those are out of the realm of possibly being covered by an operational budget,
You
at
said
a
that.
smaller scale.
So you're saying down, let's down both for them.
If that's gonna be the only thing we ask to borrow, I guess it doesn't matter, but. I don't know. Can they cover something? And they're not having to cover vehicles through their operating, which is what they used to have to do. And I understand they were neglected for a good deal of time. So
Well,
they're trying to
I'd rather
use
put
this.
it in that Jenny take that than me take that.
Okay.
Just saying.
I mean, that being said. It will be her call anyway.
Yeah.
Um. I wouldn't be,
I mean, we could do the truck instead. On the go over.
I, that's one of the design studies. But not cost that much. If we're going to, my opinion only, if we were to keep that, this is the complete capital ask is what we already have, the 2,055,000-ish. If we're going to ask for anything we borrowed, or, because it's not gonna be out of the general fund, if we were to compile the defibrillators, the radios and batteries, skip the 3/4 ton and maybe just get the smaller supervisor,
That's what I was thinking.
right? And out of the 2 studies, get the ADA study done. We'd be looking at like 150 grand roughly to ask to be borrowed, which is not insane, I don't think.
Okay.
I don't know if that's
I think,
amiable.
I think the meter reader part is
Yeah.
kind of necessary. Got this water meter.
So if we were to put in some sort of like, so that would be 2610. Looking for that 324. Shit's not so much. 25. 85. 25. Looking for the. It would be 165,934. Quote unquote borrowing ask. And 2,056,000 or 2,055,329 capital. Which would still leave us with roughly 900,000, is that correct? In capital, which is kind of, we're near it, right? It's pretty close.
And so we are saying architectural split.
Just one of them, not municipal building feasibility. But maybe just, that was just my thought was, getting school thing done and out of the way,
So what was
especially since they don't have asks for years 3, 4, and 5 right now.
what was the total you came up with for what we were asking for the government?
165,934.
Okay. Oh, I missed a zero when I was adding that into that column. Okay, 165,
That's
9. Yep,
60.
I got the same number. I just, when I was transposing numbers, I must have pressed a zero too softly.
I mean, that covers everything and really. Considering it's such a thin year, I don't think that that's. I mean, we cut out, like we said, we cut out one vehicle. And a design study
The pickleball courts.
and the pickleball courts.
But I don't feel to do with it.
I don't either, especially for them, like it's
Don't need
it's
to-
still bizarre to me that $250,000. To put concrete. Some fencing.
Well, wasn't that just the start of it and the full project was going to be like $1 million total, but with the matching grant?
Right,
Yep.
that's what I mean for concrete on.
Oh, and it would have been more money if it had lights.
It took us long enough to get lights at our school,
That's
work
what-
functions.
that's what I think.
I don't think I'm worried about like people going out at 8 o'clock at night playing pickleball, because I think, to be honest, most people playing pickleball are in bed by 8 o'clock, so. Just saying,
Totally.
So,
maybe they wanna light at 4 in the morning. when they wake up, But.
So do we need to do a formal vote?
yes, because the email said that we needed to write down the votes and record to submit to the clerk.
Yeah.
So,
Just recommendations, right?
so are we able to vote on the recommendation as one big thing, or do we have to go by line?
I think didn't we just go? We did last year. I know we had tallied things up into, because last year we had a lot more free cash, dude. What is our free? Actually, we forgot about that. Was there a free cash balance?
Oh, free cash fund, we had 3 million. For this year.
Mhm.
And there was not much left, so that's about the simple free cash balance.
So all the free cash is essentially been accounted for.
Exactly.
Okay, so that, I was gonna say, wait a minute, we don't need to borrow that much. We have free cash. But, yeah, I know some of that's already been.
I guess we should go through item by item, just for the.
There.
Okay. Now, who will be doing the recording tally?
I do that.
Okay, you've got that right.
Hey,
Let's do it.
I do if I took a breath, maybe someone else would volunteer.
That's what happened so far.
So I'm gonna walk you through it, I have it all right here.
Okay.
So, The first one was police cameras for 236,159.
Yep.
And police cruisers for 280,170.
Yep.
For a total of 516,329.
Yep.
Favor?
Yes.
To be recommended to be used in capital.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, then for DPW. I have chapter 70 funds, which we do need to vote on, of 622,758. Highway, repair, 200,000. Bucket truck of 250,000.
It's 150. I'm sorry. I was reading.
My fingers are fat, so sometimes I hit the wrong number. Colerain Street, 35,000. 34 Riddell Street, 34,000. A trash truck in the amount of 370,000 and a 1-ton pickup for 150. For a total of 1,661,758 capital.
Us go 150 somewhere. For one time, I didn't have that on. Somewhere in here also. So we might be at 2.2.
Oh, my phone has a 7,205.
2055329.
Yeah, that's what I have.
Where
Do you want to see?
this central rec. The trash truck. I'm just not seeing anything I wrote down that says 150 grand.
Well, if you want to see on mine, column B is the one that I had tallied up. And I put the little notes so I'd know what each thing was.
534. $100,000. How did I get to that number without having $150,000 right now? Great.
Maybe a little mental math somewhere. in
I'm
there.
good at math and yet I clearly screwed the pooch on this one somewhere.
So the first would be to accept the grant, chapter 90 grant of 622,758.
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah. And to 1,039,000 out of capital.
Yes.
Yes.
If that's what that came t-shirt.
And then recreation, the wayfinding of 75,000, tennis and pickleball repair, 35,000, a total of 110 out of capital.
Yes.
Yes.
School fire alarm, 300,000 out of capital.
Yes.
Yes.
Central maintenance, Rockport van out of capital,
Yes.
90,000, yeah. G-set, bonding of 450,000.
Yes.
Yes.
Sewer fund, 200,000 out of to be paid out of the sewer enterprise fund.
Was that not a borrowing?
That was a
Oh,
borrow.
that's the borrowing, yeah, I'm sorry, yeah. They will pay it through them. And the water fund is a total of 615,000 out of water enterprise borrowing.
150 of that is listed as retained earnings, right? 3580.
3580.
Oh, that is-
Yeah, sure. So that should be just simple 500,000 then.
Good catch.
Thank you. So water fund, 500,000. Engineering design, dredging Green River.
Okay. So we're one $1,150,000 borrowing throughout our enterprise funds. We'll be asking for $165,000. General. So, that.
Yeah, so. Police defibrillators, 20,610.
Yeah.
Police radios and batteries, 35,324. DPW, meter reader car, 25,000. And the school architectural study of 85,000, so 165 mentioned for one.
Yes.
They've got that lovely kitchen back there.
Well, they do.
Yes, they have.
Gorgeous.
Okay, so I've heard of them. Hold on, let me check with your stuff.
Okay.
Because again, I'm doing quick math about what I wrote and it seems to add up right to the 2,956. But like I said, I was missing that 150K
So, my
replacement trucks.
my-
Unless I put it with something, I have 200 for the highway, 250 for forestry. Is there DPW?
So my B column is added up and totaled in the box that I
I'm
found.
just like wanting to check off one.
Of course.
28236. 150. 200. 250. Driving papers. Oh, that's where I did, I put 111 instead of 110, so there's that, so that's 255. There's my $1,000. But, and then $3,000 final one. I have all of those checked off except for 150K to the DPW, that truck. And your thing doesn't have a total here for what column B is.
Column B is totaled in the blue box there,
It isn't,
the little blue outline box, so I just stick the formulas off to the side so that I can total different combinations.
why? It makes no sense now. I'm getting the same number as you, but I don't have $150,000 in there. Where did that
Can I
go?
see yours?
You sure? Yeah, I just screwed up with that. Like I said, I put 111 instead of 110.
But at least $10,000.
I did, but I'm still, well, I don't have $150,000 written down there.
I think I'd have to just walk through and break them down because of the way that you have them.
Right, well, that's why I was checking them off as I went down your,
Yeah.
was like.
Grab a fresh piece of paper and redo it.
I mean, I'm gonna try, I just, yeah, I mean, I trust it. I'm trying to figure out how the hell I got the same numbers you, I literally don't have that other from, okay. At 280.
Mhm.
236, what are, yeah.
You want me to read out the
Sure,
numbers?
236.
Yep, and then the next one is the 150K, and then 200K.
Which is DPW.
Yep, that's highway fund. Then the 250K for the bucket truck,
Mhm.
then the 370K for the trash truck.
Mhm.
Then 35K for pole ring building study.
The 34 for the L.
Yep, 34 for the other one. Then the 90,000 for the central maintenance Rockport van.
Yeah.
Rec department 75,000 for the trail map. And 35,000 for the repairs, and then the $300,000 fire.
These are inside, so check marks other than the 150.
So go ahead and add them up.
I'm gonna do it somewhere.
No, it's It's not a waste of time. It's good to
We
double
want
check.
you to be comfortable with
It's
this.
just that, just because the spreadsheet formula says this doesn't mean that. I mean, John Glenn had the, when I'm done check the math by hand before he got his face.
Yeah, that's, I don't understand what happened here. I got the same number, you're correct. Here did I magically insert 150,000? Oh, I know what, it's right here. It's literally at the end was, I had 1906. I just didn't write the little 150 in here. I just added it to it.
Got it.
Okay.
It was mental.
I'm not saying that's all it was for my own
You're
sanity.
good at mental math.